if you can hear my brother playing video games through our shared wall, but if you can, I mildly apologize, but also welcome to the wonderful world of siblings. He's not even being like that loud, our walls are just really thin, but I don't care about his video gaming. What I do care about is this. 2 weeks ago, we started reading Zodiac Academy Ruthless Fae. I only got about halfway through. I knew I would only get about halfway through because then I wanted to go and read ACOWAR. I read ACOWAR, we're done with ACOWAR, and I told you guys I would be back, and back we are to the Zodiac Academy world. I will not lie to you, I did read a couple of chapters without you, and by a couple, I mean like 5. It's nothing crazy, but I did read a little bit to get back up to speed with where we ended off, and then I just kept reading and gosh, all I can think about is this freaking book. According to my wonderful little book tracking app, we have about 2 hours left. So, I'm finishing it today, obviously. But let me catch you up to speed with where we're at first, shall I? Honestly, I forget that I can't actually tell you what's going on in here because we don't do spoilers here, and I'm going to continue not to do spoilers here. But just know that I'm really enjoying this. This book is already feeling much more like put together than the first one in the sense of like how everything is working and the explaining of certain situations that we are getting. Like, we're finally in an astrology class and figuring out why astrology is so important to what is happening in this Fae world and how it links to all the elements and everything like that. We're finally getting that, which I really much appreciate. Our Vega twins are up to absolutely no good, terrible, amazing, awesome things as always, and I love it. What the hell is up with this? Wow, this is apparently one of those times where the hair looks, I like this from the front, but from the side, is it bad? Oh my god, from the side, it's terrible. What about the other side? Wow, it's really bad. Wow, I was just driving like that. I don't want to think about that. Okay, my hair fiasco aside, I am seriously really enjoying Zodiac Academy Ruthless Fae, and I do want to go finish it right now. Like right this second. And with me saying I really like it, I actually have no like bad notes for this so far. I'm reading it for entertainment purposes only. There's no big plot holes that are driving me nuts. Like, me and this book, we're actually on much better terms than the first one, which is really exciting for me because I'm enjoying this a lot. But I realized I jumped right into telling you about this book rather than what we are doing today, so let's rewind just a wee bit before we go off and finish Zodiac Academy. I have said this about a million bajillion times this year, so if you have heard me say this before already, I do apologize, but one of my reading goals for 2026 is to finish out the year with only 2 series that I am in the middle of, and that was before I found out it was in the middle of 30 different series, and no, I'm not kidding. So I've decided that this week, or today for y'all, we are going to focus on reading through some of the series. Do I think we're going to finish any series in this? No, but I do think we're going to get a lot of good progress in them. The issue with most of the series that I am in the middle of is that I have either only read 1 or 2 books, and typically it's like a 4 to 6 book series. So while I am progressing, they're all probably going to get finished at about the same time because I cannot just read 1 series in 1 sitting. I have to jump genres, I have to jump series, which is how we ended up in this issue in the first place. But now that I have explained the wonderful world of why we are picking this back up, we are just gonna go ahead and dive right back in to Zodiac Academy Ruthless Fae. I have about 2 hours left, like I said. It's about 100 pages. I'm ready, ladies. I am ready indeed. Okay, it is the next evening, but yesterday I finished reading through Zodiac Academy Ruthless Fae. I did read through the last like 120 pages. No! My god, did you see that? Tragic. Don't eat my pen. Don't eat my pen. If you ever feel like you need to be overstimulated, just come and hang out with my cat, honestly. Good gracious. Tragically, accidentally bent one of the pages in here. That's terrible. It fixed. It looks okay. Alrighty. But, as I was trying to say, I read like the last 120 pages yesterday. I literally read it in 1 sitting, which is crazy for me. Something else that is also crazy for me is the fact that I, just realizing this now, read a 500-page book. Sorry, he is currently upset because every single night we come in here and it's bedtime, and he tells me it's bedtime exactly at 9 p.m. And then once we're in here, the world is just wrong. I don't know what he needs. I don't know what he wants. I've tried everything. It's not food. I give him food. He has everything you could ever need in here. He's fine, I promise. He's just dramatic. He is just an Aslan. Okay, anyways, if you hear any meowing, it is most likely from him. But, Ruthless Fae, it's like 500 freaking pages or something like that. Something stupid. 533 pages. This book is 533 pages, and I chose to pick this up after reading War, which was 700 pages. I think I have big book burnout. I don't know if that's a thing, but I feel like if I pick up another book that is more than 400 pages right now, I'm going to lose my ever-loving mind. Like, I am literally going to lose my mind. Because I realized this when I was halfway through this, but I'm like, wow, you know, this is progressing and things are happening, but it's all happening like pretty slowly, which I don't mind if some of my books move slower, especially with the series that has like 18 million bajillion books. I expect it, but I think that I needed a break from this and now I want something faster paced and a hook and something like that, you know? But I'm getting way ahead of myself. We still have to wrap up what I think about Ruthless Fae. That was a really important thought bubble that's been in my head for a while now, and it needed to come out. Did he just knock over my trash can? Yep, he did. Don't have cats, guys. Don't have cats. One cat rescue mission later. Ruthless Fae. I don't even know, honestly. I gave it 3 out of 5 stars because in the beginning of this book, like the first half of it, I was actually enjoying it more than the first book. I feel like it's fleshed out more. I didn't find as many plot holes or things that were like really didn't make sense. I felt more cohesive in here, and I appreciate that. And I continued feeling that for about probably like 70% of the book. I think it was just like the last 30% that kind of just, for me, just like down a little bit, you know? But that could also be for the fact that I read it all in one sitting for like 2.5 hours. Like I don't do that for a reason. I have, and there's the other one. I have unfortunately kind of slowly started to come to terms with the fact that I'm not built right now to be a binge reader. As much as I would love to like sit down and read an entire book in one sitting, my brain doesn't have that capability. So because of that, I don't think it's entirely the book. I think it's also my fault for how I read the book, if that makes any sense at all. So that's why it's not 2.5 like the first one was, because I still, honestly, plot hole wise, nothing crazy is happening. I feel like it's a little weird that we have 2 main plot pieces going on. Part 1, where it's obviously our Vega twins, you know, understanding the magical world, going through school as magic people. But then the secondary part of that is the fact that because they were interacting with the heirs so much of the throne, and technically they're supposed to be inheriting the throne, we were also getting like a little bit of political background, but also it's mostly leaning in the direction of like these attacks from another creature, I guess, that are harmful, but like we don't really need to know about it, but I think we know about it because of how many interactions we have in like the royal ruler of the kingdom type situation. So with both of those things going on, it just kind of feels like a lot at times. Like, I don't think we needed to have both really big plot points, but I wonder if it's going to play like a bigger role in where the story goes in later books. But it got 3 out of 5 for me. I didn't hate it. I'll be continuing on, but I definitely need a break from this, especially because I know the books only get bigger, and I also don't own any more of the books in that series right now, sadly. So that guy is getting put on the pause, and we are going to move on. Clearly, I have already stated that I want something more fast-paced and more, how do I say this? Like, not boring. Not that was boring. This actually, the Zodiac Academy wasn't boring me at all, actually, but just like, really just more fast-paced is what I want. So I really quickly am pulling up my Libby shelf that I have to see what books we have in here relating to series. Because while I would love to pick up another physical book right now, I have this itch to crochet an entire sweater, and those take me a really long time. So I'm thinking that I'm going to pick up an audiobook in the meantime before I am ready to jump back into another physical book. And it looks like I have 2 options for books to pick up. I have The King of Crows by Liba Bray, which is the last book in the Diviners series. Or I have The Dixon Rule by Elle Kennedy, which is the second book in it's relating to the Off-Campus series. I think it's called the Off-Campus series. Those are the 2 books we could pick from. I have other books that are in here, but they're not part of series, or they're part of new series, and I'm trying not to do that. So between those 2, honestly, they both kind of sound appealing for their own reasons. The Dixon Rule is going to be like a rom-com-ish book. I can already tell you that. It's going to be mostly romance. I think it's sports romance, actually. And I really liked the Charlie Method, which was the first one in the series. It was actually really good. So I could pick that up. I'm like 85% sure I'll have a fun time with that. Or we could finish up the freaking Liba Bray Diviners series. That'd be huge too. This is the last one I have left. It's actually like a quite enjoying storyline and plot and everything like that. The only issue I'm having with it is that the audiobook is 22 hours. And I do listen to my books on 2x speed, so it'd only be an 11-hour audiobook. But I don't know if I would rather commit to an 11-hour audiobook or a 7-hour audiobook. What's 6.5-hour audiobooks yet? That feels more doable to me. But also, like, I don't know if it's that big of a deal. I kind of want to do The King of Crows by Leba Bray. I feel like if I do that, then I'm getting a series completely off my list, and I will feel absolutely fantastic about that. So I think we are going to read The King of Crows by Leba Bray. Unfortunately, there's not a lot that I can tell you going into this, mostly because I can't tell you plot specifics, just things about the plot, and I'm so deep into the series that really I don't know where to go from here, like telling you things. What I can tell you is that it is kind of fantasy based, but it's taking place in the real world with like fantasy elements. I believe it's set in the 1930s. It's when flappers were really big. That's when this takes place, and we have a whole bunch of different characters from a whole bunch of different backgrounds of life in New York City who would discover this like magic. I don't even know if it would be considered magic. I think they consider it like just like having an affinity towards something, but it's like it's not like a super magic heavy base. It's more like baby magical elements, you know? But they're all connected through this like non-magical situation, and then there's this evil guy who's doing evil things, and these good people are trying to stop him. That's kind of the idea. And I'm adoring it, honestly. It's nothing crazy. I can't really remember where we left off, so I think I'm gonna do like a quick little Google search and be like, how does the third book, I think the Before the Devil Breaks You, how does it end? And before I jump back into The King of Crows, but I am excited to jump back into this series because it's been a hot second since I've been in here. But The King of Crows by Leba Bray. I was about to say on Spotify because I typically tell my robot in the car, I'm like, hey Siri, play this on Spotify. I'm gonna go start reading, not listening to anything on Spotify. Good gracious. It has been so long. It has literally been 2 weeks. It literally took me 2 weeks to read the entirety of The King of Crows by Leba Bray, but I did read the entirety of The King of Crows by Leba Bray. Did I intend for this book to take me so long? No, but I genuinely don't think that I realized how long this book is. I didn't actually look it up yet, but I think the book's like 600 pages or something stupid like that, which is a lot of freaking pages. Okay, that's a big chunky book, and I don't think I realized that going in. But anyways, I finished The King of Crows, and I literally just finished it like 10-15 minutes ago, and honestly, I'm not really sure how I feel. I'm really happy with this last book. I'm really happy with how the series wrapped up. It made a lot of sense. I think my camera's dirty, hold on. Even though it made so much sense, and I have a sense of fulfillment, like I don't want anything else from the story, I'm still so like meh, I guess, you know? I read the first 3 books over a year ago at this point. At least the first one I read over a year ago, or something like that. Like, it's been a really long time since I've picked up the series, so I have a little bit of a disconnect between the characters, and I think that may be part of it. But I also just like, this book focuses obviously on a fantasy element. There are these people called the diviners who have these powers that comes from this place that does this thing, right? I can't say a lot because it's the last book of the series, but that's like the general consensus. But as we're going through this series, we also see all of the issues that America was dealing with in the it was right before Hitler, 1930s, 1940s, something like that. Because they mentioned Hitler at the end of the book, right? They mentioned the start of World War II at the end of the book. But I mean, seeing the segregation, seeing the Jim Crow laws, seeing the xenophobia, seeing how they're treating people in the LGBTQ community, anybody who's different, immigrants, people who are Chinese, like all of it in book form. I don't know if I want to say it's hard for me to grasp, because I understand the concept, I get the concept, and I'm just so upset. I think I'm just so upset with the fact that even though it is 2026, some of the things mentioned in this book you can still find in today's society. And I find that so much while I'm reading nowadays. If there's anything like remotely negative, I don't focus on it, but I see it and I notice it, and then I realize that it's still happening today, and it makes me feel this sense of like, what is the point of writing these books and telling these stories if they're not going to change how people act and how people treat each other? You know what I mean? Especially with the world that we live in. Like, why are we still dealing with some of the issues from the 1930s, 1940s? Why is that not ridiculous to anybody else? Am I in the right time period? either way, even if it's sooner, even if it's like the 1940s, 1950s, that's disgusting that we are still dealing with these problems almost 100 years later. I read as a form of escaping the world. And even though I read as a form of escaping the world, I'm okay with finding these things because I think that reading stories and seeing it from an outside perspective is a great perspective for people to have. Especially if you have the insight to realize that it's happening in today's society. And if you say, oh, that's wrong about a character in a book, you can also say, oh, that's wrong to a person in the world. You know what I mean? With that being said, this book does not focus on any of those factors at all. They're mentioned consistently throughout the book because it's important to how the book moves, how the plot is built, how the characters are treated, how multiple people in this book of our main characters, our main group of like 6 to, I think it's actually 8 people. It's a pretty large group of people, but how 3 or 4 out of the 8 of them have to hide their romantic relationships from other people. Yeah, 4 of them. There's 4 of them. Either because of race, because of who they love. Yeah, who they love or who they love because of the color of their skin, or who they love because of gender. It is beautiful representation, but it is criminal to me that those are issues we still face today because it's such a little thing. Why do you care? Why do you care so deeply as to hate people? But I could sit here and talk about that all day. Like I could literally talk about how upset I am with the state of the country and the world all day. So let's take a little shift into the other parts of the book. Mostly characters. Obviously, I love them all. I think Sam is hilarious. Henry's hilarious. Theta's the most relatable person in this world, and I am so happy that she is finally able to express herself in the ways that are healthy and people will love to see. There are actually a couple of deaths in this book, and I really wasn't expecting it. Mostly because, one, this book, the series is in like the YA section, and you don't see death a lot in like fantasy books in the YA section, I feel like. So I was really happy to see that, you know, there was actually risks and stakes at play and that they did take a hand in how the book was led. But I love that part of it. And then I also love how it's people you don't expect. And it happens in ways that you don't expect. I think that that's really, really important to show how fragile and how beautiful life is. But that's just something that I love to say in books. A little representation of how the actual world is, if you will. But I adore our characters. I think the relationships that are in there are adorable, both romantic friendship and just general how people work wise. It is delectable. And I love it. Plot-wise, I like how the series wrapped up. It was perfect. I couldn't have asked for anything more. It was beautiful. No notes. Literally nothing. Nothing to even complain about. The thing I will complain about, though, is the pacing of this book. Like I said, I didn't actually look up how many pages this book is. I'm going to go with the fact that it's 600. I don't know if that's true. We are looking at this 600-page book. The first, 450, probably, or maybe a little less, 400, 450. The first 400 to 450 pages. What am I saying? I know what I'm saying, but it doesn't make sense. About the first 400 to 450 pages of this book, we are going through each of these characters' perspectives. It's a multiple perspective book, and you get all these characters' perspectives, and they're all trying to meet up at this place. But that 400 pages, I understand why we read it all. It was really important. You needed all the information to know why these characters went to these places, what they're learning, how they're learning it, and then how, all of their thoughts and things are developing. It's very important that we did all of it, but I feel like it didn't need to be 400 freaking pages. I do think that is part of the reason why this book took me almost 2.5 weeks to read. That and myself on a really busy schedule, but those 400 pages, they didn't drag on and on and on, and I was still entertained because you were learning things, you were switching perspectives, and that's always fun, getting just really important information. But it took a really long time. It feels like it could be maybe 300 or 350 pages. It didn't need to be that in depth, I feel like, in some cases. And then the last 150 to 200 pages of the book is the big fight, because it's a fantasy book. You always have a big fight. That all makes sense to me, and I can't really say a lot more because it's major spoilers of what happens in the book. But I do 100% like that pacing was beautiful. Those last 150, 200 pages, I wouldn't change anything about that. I think that was really, really beautiful, really well written, really, really well paced, what have you. But that part was so long, just a little too long. I think I kind of felt the same way about Echo War when I read Echo War. I'm like, we could go just a little bit faster, not in a bad way. I'm still entertained, I'm still reading it, but I yearn for a little bit more to be happening. But other than that, I genuinely have no issues with this book. I think it's beautiful. I think the topics that it talks about are beautiful, and I have absolutely nothing to add. So, The King of Crows by Lee Bray, the final book in the Diviners series by Libra Bray got a 3.5 out of 5 stars for me. Like I said, I really don't have any notes other than the pacing, and that was about it. It was beautiful, and I'm really glad I read it, and I'm really sad it took me so long. I feel like if I would have read it, 6 months, 9 months ago, I would have loved it even more. But I think there's just a little bit too much time between book 3 to book 4 for me, but I still enjoyed it and followed it nonetheless. But I do want to pick one more book for us to read together today in our wonderful series progress situation. I really terribly want to pick up a literary book because I want to read about those more heavier topics for whatever reason. Not to make myself depressed or sad, but I'm yearning to feel with characters, if that makes sense, And not in a fantasy way, and not in a romance way, in a literary, I want to read a story kind of way, an actual, not that those aren't legitimate stories, but a human connection story, Something like, I actually haven't read a literary in such a long time, I can't think of any. I could even do a memoir, but the issues with those is that none of those are really series. So, just so you know, if I don't seem super excited about this, that is why, but I am excited for the next book that we are going to pick up. I am currently in between 2 books. I'm going to pull them off my shelf here. They are both romances. They're both dark romances, and a surprise to no one, we have Broken Vow by Sophie Lark, which is the 5th book in the Buddha Birthday series. I really want to finish this. I love this series. I adore it. I'm excited for this one because we got a little snippet in book 4 of what happens. And then my other option is Wretched by Emily McIntyre, which I love Emily McIntyre. She's amazing. I did not like Scarred very much, and I want Emily to have a redemption arc in my books because I loved Hooked. And I've heard, hopefully, that Wretched gives the same vibes as Hooked, and I want those vibes again. So this is where I'm at. I know that I'm going to like this one, but I don't know if I want to dive back into this family again. Not because they're boring by any means, but because I think I'm delaying the ending of this series, and I only own Broken Vow. I don't own Heavy Crown, which is the final book in the Brutal Birthright series, so I'm kind of hung up on reading this. And honestly, I'm kind of in the same boat for Wretched. I'm kind of hung up on reading this because of how much Scarred it disappointed me. I don't want to be disappointed again because of how much I loved Hooked. Hooked is what got me into dark romance 2-3 years ago at this point. And I want a redemption for Miss Emily because I feel like she deserves it. I feel like she needs to have it. I want her to have it. I want to like this. I own the rest of the series and then a couple more books by Emily McIntyre. I want that love back, So for me, there's a lot of pressure for me to read this book and like it, and I'm a little bit worried that I'm not going to. And this one, there's a lot of pressure for me to read this book and just read it, period, because I love it all, So I'm just there's a little bit of pressure behind both of these for myself, all internally. Nobody else is pressuring me other than myself because I make my own decisions, but that's just kind of where my head's at. I do know that I want to tab Wretched by Emily McIntyre, which is going to take me reading it a little bit longer, but that almost makes me want to read it more because I only allow myself to tab one book at a time, and there is a book I really want to pick up called Call of the Wraith by Kevin Sands, which is the 3rd book in the Blackthorn Key series. I really want to pick up that one and read it. It's not a literary, but I do want to pick it up and read it, but I cannot give myself the tabs for it until I read this one because I did already go and plan my tabs for this one because after I finished Scarred, I'm oh yeah, we're picking up this right away, and I haven't picked it up yet, so I do have to pick this up before I can pick that up. That's my own personal rule. Again, I pressure myself to do really weird stuff, okay? But because of that, I think that I'm going to pick up Wretched. I do think I'm going to pick up Wretched. I think Broken Vow will have its time. It's going to be soon, but I do not think it's going to be today. I don't know anything about Wretched. I don't even know what it's based on. Drug Empire. Whoa, I don't want to read any more of the back. What is this based on? If you don't know, this is the Never After series, and each of them is based off of a different, Disney story. Scarred was The Lion King and Hooked was Peter Pan and Wendy. Are they not Disney stories? They're fairy tales? I think they're considered fairy tales. Let me look really quickly if it's in here. I don't see anything on the copyright page. Sometimes they have to credit, this is where I got. Isn't The Wonderful Wizard of Oz? Because there's a quote from The Wonderful Wizard of Oz in here. Evelina. Oh my god, is this about the Wicked Witch? Hold on a second. It is the Wizard of Oz. It's the Wizard of Oz. Oh my god, Scarred is based on Hamlet. Did I read that? I feel like I've read that. Hold on. I googled it and I found the full list. Hold on a second. For the entire Never After series by Emily McIntyre, Hooked is based off Peter Pan. That one I knew. That one I got right away. Scarred is Hamlet, which Lion King is based on. I don't think I've ever read or seen Hamlet. The only thing I've read is Macbeth. Shakespeare confuses the absolute crap out of me. So to me, that just is The Lion King. And I saw that a lot in that. That makes a lot of sense. Wretched, which is this one, is Wizard of Oz. Twisted, which is book 4, is Aladdin. That one I did know. Crossed is The Hunchback of Notre Dame. That one I did know as well, because the bell intrigued me and I had to Google it. So I knew that one was The Hunchback. And then Hex is The Little Mermaid, which is also one I knew because I'm a Little Mermaid enjoyer, lover, obsessed person. Because I'm obsessed with the oceans. I'm also obsessed with, what's it called? The Little Mermaid, obviously. Duh. I want to know what characters this is supposed to be based on. I don't know if I can find that out. Because, like, the characters coincide with each other, you know? Our main female character is the Wicked Witch of the West. Fun. And then, oh my god, this one's opposite. Our female character's, like, evil this time. Oh, this is going to be fun. Oh my gosh. And then Nick, who is going to be our main male character, is the Tin Man. Oh, this is going to be fun. Oh, and it's, like, a drug-related one. Oh my gosh, this is literally just, like, the Brutal Birthright series, but make it, like, a fantasy retelling. Oh my god. Oh, I'm excited. Okay, yeah, we're gonna go read Wretched by Emily McIntyre. I'm hoping we can read a little bit of it tonight. I don't know if I'll actually get to it. It's pretty late and I do have to go do some other things. But best believe, Wretched by Emily McIntyre. We're gonna dive in and we're gonna go do that now together. You won't have to wait for me to pick it up. Let's go see. Let's go book. Let's go. Yeah. Okay, guys, it's been like literally 2 days, but I have officially started reading a lot in Wretched. I am already on chapter 16 being my next chapter, and I do this every time. I don't do this every time, but I do it every time I pick up a book that I really like. I say I'm gonna read with you guys, and I have all the intentions to. I open it up, gonna read one chapter to get myself hooked, and then start like a time lapse or some sort of filming situation, and then we read together because I'm hooked and I want to keep reading the book, right? Like, I'm intrigued. But 2 pages in and I was at the clutches of Wretched. I can't stop. I literally can't stop. To bring in a little bit of like background funny information, I technically started this the day that we met. I read like the day that we picked it up. I did start it that night. I read like probably 7 chapters, and then the other 8 I read the following evening, and then it was Friday, Saturday, and Sunday were the next days, and each of those days I had to work a 13.5-hour shift, so I did not get to pick up this book at all, and I was just so upset about it. And then yesterday was Monday, and I intended to pick this up, but then I got home super late from a work shift that I had, and I didn't get to pick it up. But it is Tuesday. It is currently like 7 p.m. I have some more stuff I need to get done, but we are going to be actually reading together in this tonight. All that to say, if it was not obvious, I am absolutely obsessed with Wretched by Emily McIntyre. This has given me the same exact feel as what Hooked did. It is a contemporary. It has to do, I don't know if it's considered the mafia. It's actually more of like the drug circle ring situation, but it's still, it's so good. It's so good. You know, I keep saying that I like dark romance, and I do, but I think that my like favorite genre in dark romance is freaking mafia romances. And this just follows that same like the same vibe, you know? And the best part is that Evie, who is our female main character, is the one who's like part of the mafia, and then he's trying to like suss her out, and it's so good. It's so good. They immediately had chemistry, and they still do, even though there's like this whole like secret thing going on where he knows who she is, she knows who he is, and they met before he became like an undercover person. So it's really like, but I love it. I really do. I really love it. All that to say, I'm gonna go very quickly get my other stupid adulting stuff done so that we can go read Wretched by Emily McIntyre, because this is phenomenal. This is a vibe that I wanted from this card, and I'm so happy that Wretched is delivering. Okay, y'all, I gotta be honest, it's a couple of days later and I have finished Wretched by Emily McIntyre. I'm sorry. I was reading it and I was on like chapter probably like 30, I don't know, like 37. And I was like, oh, I'll stop at 40. At 40 chapters I'll stop, and it looks like we'll have like a good chunk of the book left. Turns out that good chunk of the book was actually all like special stuff for like sneak peek, next book, what happens in that book, the first 2 chapters of that book, and not Wretched, and not content about Wretched. So I did in fact finish Wretched on accident because I flipped and it said epilogue, and I was like, oh, interesting. Didn't know we were done. Which I say, but it really didn't end too abruptly. It wrapped up nice. There was a beautiful ending. I don't know what else I would have wanted from it. It was fantastic. Honestly, I think I gave it 3.5 out of 5. I should know that. It's only been a day. Yeah, no, I totally give this 3.5 stars out of 5. I do not love this one as much as Hooked. I think Hooked is always going to be up there for me, simply because in my brain it's like the holy grail of dark romance books. To be completely honest, if I were to like reread it now, I would probably feel different about it. You know, it probably would still be a pretty good book, but not like the all-time best dark romance book I've ever read. Which is funny because I think I rated it 4, and I've definitely rated it a different dark romance higher, but like it's kind of like where it all started for me, you know? It's like one of those books. It's like if you were to go back and read Judy B. Jones, the books that you thought were absolutely fantastic peak in middle school, but turns out they sucked, and that's probably elementary school. Not middle school, but you get the point. Same situation here with our lovely Hooked by Emily McIntyre, but that's not even what we're talking about. We're talking about Wretched. I really, really, really do love Wretched. I think that the chemistry between our main female and main male character was absolutely fantastic. I love how he is head over heels for her in his head, like in his monologue. He's like talking about how much he loves her, and just she's so fantastic. And I hate that I love this girl, essentially. Which honestly I think is really attractive, because in like their actual conversation he treats her nicely. He's kind of a dick in the beginning, I won't lie, but he's like I can see the spark, you know? I could see it, and I think it was really, really, really beautiful. And then Evie's just absolutely going through it mentally, physically, emotionally, and just, you know, doing her best. And that absolutely portrays throughout the entire of the book. I think that they make a great couple and are absolutely 100% endgame. I was going to say a little spoiler and I won't do that, but I really, really, really did like Wretched by Emily McIntyre. And with that, that is going to be all of the time that we have here together today. Sadly, I wish we could spend more, but unfortunately, I have to move on with my life. It's okay. It just means that I get to go and film another reading vlog for us to spend some more time with together later, which is really exciting. But until that later time, I hope that you guys are having just as much, if not better, times in your book worlds as I am in mine. And until next Wednesday, I hope that you guys stay safe, happy, healthy, and have all of the wonderful, beautiful, and amazing things happen to you and in your life. And I cannot wait to see you guys on that Wednesday. Bye!